Before there were billionaires. Before Wall Street ruled America. There was a boy with no education and a $100 loan from his mother. At 16, Cornelius Vanderbilt began ferrying goods across New York Harbor. By 40, he dominated the sea. By 60, he controlled the rails that moved an entire nation. He slashed prices to kill competition. He bet everything on the next big thing. And he built a fortune so massive, his name still echoes through universities and train stations today. But not everything he built survived. His heirs wasted the wealth. His reputation split between legend and tyrant. This is the untold story of the man who moved America and the financial trap he left behind. This is Cornelius Vanderbilt. This is Money Traps. He wasn't born rich. He wasn't born powerful. In fact, Cornelius Vanderbilt quit school at just 11 years old. While other boys read books, he was ferrying livestock across the New York Harbor. At 16, he borrowed $100 from his mother to buy his first boat. It wasn't fancy. It wasn't fast. But it was his. Day after day, he rowed cargo across the water. Faster, cheaper, and more often than anyone else. He worked while others rested. Cut deals when others hesitated. And within a few short years, the boy they once called uneducated owned an entire fleet. His secret: start early, stay hungry, outwork everyone. Before railroads, before Wall Street, it all began with $100 and a boat. He didn't have the biggest boat, but he had the sharpest mind in the harbor. With a single rowboat, Cornelius Vanderbilt ferried goods across New York faster than his competition. And he charged half the price. While others relied on size, Vanderbilt relied on efficiency. He timed the tides, hustled before sunrise, cut deals directly with merchants. And soon, that little boat became a fleet. That boy with no diploma, a name whispered across docks, with fear and respect. He wasn't just moving goods. He was building a system, lean, fast, relentless. Efficiency beat size. Precision beat power. The lesson: you don't need a fleet to win. You need a system that outpaces giants. What would you do with just one boat and one shot to prove you're better? When Cornelius Vanderbilt entered the steamship business, he didn't play fair. He slashed prices so low, rivals couldn't even pay their crews. Passengers flocked to his ships. Profits soared for him. Competitors, they were drowning in losses. Some begged him to stop. Others paid him to leave the market entirely. He built faster ships, ran tighter schedules, bought out the suppliers, controlled the docks. This wasn't just business. It was total supply chain dominance. While others were reacting, Vanderbilt was orchestrating every move. He didn't need to destroy them. He made them destroy themselves. The lesson: you don't have to fight fair. You just have to win the system. Do you think business should be this cutthroat? He had already conquered the seas. Steamships, ferries, freight. Vanderbilt ruled them all. But then, he did something no one expected. He left it all behind. While other tycoons clung to their ships, Vanderbilt sold his entire fleet and bet everything on something new: steel rails. Railroads were risky, expensive, and chaotic. But Vanderbilt saw what others didn't. That land was the new ocean. He bought failing rail lines, connected cities, and built what became the New York Central Railroad, a highway of steel that moved America faster than ever before. The man who once ruled the waves now controlled the tracks. His secret: he didn't fall in love with his success. He fell in love with what was next. Would you leave what made you rich to start over? Cornelius Vanderbilt didn't care about building trains. He cared about building systems. while others obsessed over engines and steel. He focused on routes, speed, and control. He connected New York to Chicago, bought out small, scattered rail lines, and forged them into the New York Central Railroad, the steel backbone of 19th century America. Goods moved faster, people traveled farther, and industries exploded because Vanderbilt made distance irrelevant. He didn't just move things. He reshaped how the country worked. And he didn't wait to be invited. He saw the boom coming and built the tracks first. The lesson: don't follow the trend. Build the thing that makes the trend possible. If you knew the next big thing, would you act on it? He wasn't just winning. He was erasing the competition. Cornelius Vanderbilt didn't believe in sharing the market. He believed in owning it. When a rival line tried to challenge him, he bought every train route around them, then blocked their access to stations and supplies. His rivals called him a tyrant. Newspapers called him ruthless. But his profits? They said something else. The system rewards control. Vanderbilt didn't just move goods. He moved the rules. When people pushed back, he didn't apologize. He pushed harder. The lesson: market control walks a fine line between strategy and suppression. Can you become a legend without being ruthless? In the 1800s, there were no logos, no influencers, no personal brands. But there was Vanderbilt. His name alone made rivals flinch. It meant speed on water, dominance on rails, and no mercy in business. Ship captains stamped it on their sails. Bankers bet on it. Customers trusted it. He didn't need marketing. His track record was the campaign. Vanderbilt turned reputation into currency. And in time, that name became worth millions. The lesson: build your name like an asset. Because in business, trust isn't just earned. It's remembered, and it compounds. Is your name building value, or just blending in? Cornelius Vanderbilt built one of the largest fortunes in American history. But within 2 generations, it was mostly gone. He gave nearly all his wealth to a single son, and left the rest of the family to feud. Mansions were built, parties were thrown, and the Vanderbilt name became a symbol of excess, not empire. They didn't grow the wealth. They used it. One descendant famously said, "Inherited wealth is a real handicap to happiness." The lesson: a fortune without financial wisdom is a bonfire waiting for a match. What would happen to your fortune after you're gone? Cornelius Vanderbilt made billions. But in the end, he left almost none of it to his family. He gave one son the lion's share of the fortune. The rest, he passed over or passed by. But to a cause. He gave $1 million to found Vanderbilt University. Not a mansion. Not a railroad. A school for strangers. Critics called it pride. Others called it vision. But over 100 years later, that university still stands. Still teaching, building, impacting lives. So what matters more? The wealth you leave behind, or what that wealth leaves behind for others? Would you choose impact over inheritance? He didn't inherit money. He earned it, one rowboat, one risk, one ruthless decision at a time. From ferrying goods at 16, to building a rail system that moved an entire nation, Cornelius Vanderbilt didn't just build a business. He built an empire of movement. But even empires crumble when the next generation doesn't understand the cost of building one. His name once stood for strength, speed, and power. Today, it's a memory on a college campus, and a warning to wealthy families everywhere. The final lesson: start small, think decades ahead, and teach your heirs how to hold what you built. What part of his story will you learn from? Cornelius Vanderbilt started with a rowboat. and built the rails that helped move a nation. But in the end, his greatest empire wasn't made of steel. It was made of lessons. About risk. About control. About what happens when you pass on wealth without wisdom. Which part of his story hit you the hardest? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We read every one. If this series challenged how you think about money and legacy, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss the next true story of ambition, greed, and consequence. And share this with someone who's building something before they fall into the same trap.